the Umbrella Corporation. Our business is life itself. This podcast episode is brought to you by nothing.
Try it for free.
Oh, you're talking about like an incubus.
Sort of something like that.
Or succubus, they call it. I don't remember what
Succubus is more sexual. See my second book for more details.
Oh, really? Really?
But it's night terrors are just sort of, it's a real fear. It's a hormonal fear. So that fear hormone builds up in your body during this nightmare or whatever. When you wake up, it's that fight or flight, but it's very real. Even though whatever you were seeing or running from in your dream it's not real, but it feels it feels real. And to a child, it feels even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that also, would that be a sleep paralysis? Is that what that's
No,
called?
I never had the paralysis, just the screaming terror.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your husband is here. Have you ever witnessed that before?
I have.
Like her screaming? Yeah. Did it freak you out?
Oh yeah. It's the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary. Better now. I don't have them hardly at all anymore.
So what do you attribute that to, having night terrors?
Well, it's from my childhood PTSD. I was abused as a child. I don't really remember much of it because it was from my infancy through.
Yeah.
So sorry if people are sensitive to that, but I'm not, and I'm here to tell my story because it's what drove me to write my books. But I think that's where that came from. I had this fear inside of me from what I didn't know because I didn't understand what it was. So a lot of it was just something that followed me. That's the only way I can describe it. It was a thing in my nightmares that followed me. I can't even show you what it was. I can't describe to you what it was, but it
You've never seen it?
I've seen it, but I haven't seen it. Do you know what I mean?
But I mean, do you have a physical description of it? Is it dark? Is it tall?
It's dark.
It's
very dark, and it's always there. And so that's a lot of my night terrors. And then some of them are more realistic, like, monsters and a lot of alien stuff. I'm terrified of aliens. I have a lot of night terrors about aliens. Just taking control of me and my body, essentially, and I'm just trying to get away. So that kind of stuff. I am going to write sci-fi soon, but started with the dark fantasy. But yeah, that's kind of where I get a lot of my darkness from, I think.
And are you the kind of person, have you reveled in your darkness? Oh shit! I mean, you wrote books and they're dark, right?
I
mean, did you revel in it? Did you start to depend on it? Did you start to build a relationship with it?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
that's not healthy, right? To do that. I wouldn't say for very long.
I used to say that it wasn't, but okay. So now that I feel like now that I'm in my 30s and I've dealt with everything, I've sort of come full circle. So I used to sort of try to deny it. I used to sort of try to deny the darkness. Like, no, I'm normal like everyone else, and try to fit in. And it just never worked out for me. And then when I was about 27, that's when I started having the flashbacks. So my whole life I went through not realizing why I was the way I was until I was about 27. I started having flashbacks, nightmares, and other horrible things come to mind. And I realized what had happened to me. I shared it with my parents, and
How long did that happen for?
A few years. Like I said, from infancy on. But I never knew what it was or understood it. And my parents had put me in therapy when I started doing weird things, like I would not stay the night at people's houses, and I would chase them down the driveway screaming bloody murder, don't leave me here. And it didn't matter where I was going or who I was staying with. I just didn't want to stay anywhere by myself. So I had basically been in therapy since I was 7, I think, is when I was more able to sort of physically and emotionally verbalize that I wasn't comfortable in certain situations. So I'd been in and out of therapy my whole life, but I never told anyone about the other thing because I didn't understand it or know what it was or realize that was the reason that I was so dark and so sad, really.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you when you were like running down the
like
down
7.
the driveway?
Yeah,
Okay.
like 7 years old. And so I got misdiagnosed with ADD at the age of 6.
But it was popular. Just give it to everybody.
Yeah, I've been on a crack since I was 6 years old. Or I guess the equivalent would be meth. But I digress. Yeah, so I got misdiagnosed. They didn't diagnose childhood PTSD. They didn't know a lot about it back in the 90s. They know a lot more about it now. But, I got misdiagnosed. The reason I couldn't pay attention was because I had ADD. The reason I was fidgety and nervous was because I had ADD. The reason that, I misbehaved and acted out was because I had ADD, not because I had PTSD.
Yeah,
or whatever.
there's a lot of problems with the mental health, like medical side of things. It's very broken. Like it's not very efficient and it's not very accurate.
Not even close. Especially for children who they really can't express what's going on with them because even they don't understand. And then it's like, you're just another kid with ADD.
Yeah.
And that made me feel stupid.
Yeah, I don't really believe in ADD.
I don't either.
I think I've met, I used to be a music teacher and let's say I taught like 60 students.
So you know.
Yeah, well, I think I met one kid with ADD. Like that I could say this kid
He
has
probably
like
had
some
ADHD.
ADD. Something like that.
Yeah. Which is, just very...
Okay, so you were misdiagnosed with it.
I was misdiagnosed with ADD. So I was made to it was kind of special education back then. It was like I had to do everything with the other kids that had some sort of developmental disability. And I have a pretty high IQ. Like I did really well in school. Like I was never disabled. But because I got labeled with ADD, I always felt like I wasn't smart, that I was stupid, that I couldn't do what other kids could do. But the truth was I actually could. And I had a teacher in the first grade who was just god awful. I remember her telling my parents she can't read or write. But I was actually just terrified of her.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
that's
god-awful
debilitating
woman.
if you're
Absolutely.
afraid.
And then in second grade, I could read anything, and I wrote all the time and excelled from then on in reading and writing. And
so the things that happen to people when they're infants, like for example, my earliest memory is maybe I'm 1 or 2, and I remember like one thing, and maybe it's like 10 seconds, or maybe it's a minute or something like that. I don't know. I have young children right now, and I'm of the philosophy right now that the things that happen to them right now don't matter.
Wrong.
That much.
Wrong.
Right. Well, so you're telling me.
Yeah. I also have a degree in psychology.
Yeah.
So I've studied a lot
tell
of this
myself.
So you tell yourself. The thing is, the memory of children is. And even in infancy, it's much more like your dog. Okay? Dog makes associations. Okay? Good and bad. Fight or flight. Because that's the only thing they really have the ability to create. They live in the present, the here and now. They're not like reminiscing.
They're like Zen monks.
And they're not moving forward either. So the memories that a child with PTSD or something like that are very much sensory. So it's like, whenever I smell this smell, I feel like I want to throw up and die. It's a feeling attached with a sensory thing, more like a dog or a cat or something like that. It's not like in movies they're like, oh, flashbacks are like these mental
it's very
replays.
Basic. Yeah, it's very basic. It gets attached to the basics.
So
of a
your
person.
olfactory is one of your strongest memories. Okay, so it's like the sense you really depend on. So for me, a lot of my flashbacks depend on smell, time of day. There are certain times of day that I know I just don't like because I know I used to go to that place. It was a daycare. I know I used to go to that place every day at that time. And I never realized, how come I don't like it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Why do I not? I don't go outside. I don't like it. I don't like the way the light, I just don't like it. So it's not that it's like, oh, I remember every detail and all this stuff because I was so young. It's more of an association. I can't smell that smell. I can't see this thing. I can't. You just know. it's so hard to describe. Like I said, it's very basal instinct stuff. Very fight or flight. And that's what post-traumatic stress disorder is. It's actually when the brain has a traumatic experience and it actually reverts back to that when, you know, we'll talk about evolution a little, but like back when we were just fight or flight. That's an older part of the brain. We've evolved further cognitively to go around that. We're not just hot or cold. We're not just fight or flight now. We can rationalize. But when someone has post-traumatic stress disorder, that rationalization is no longer present, and it is just straight association. This is bad. I gotta go. We gotta get out of here. I'm gonna die, or this is bad thing is gonna happen to me, and it's completely irrational. Yeah. But you know, there are certain things that I don't like the smell of, or the time of day.
What is it like? What kind of things?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Certain candle scents. Other things that are more direct.
Yeah, Windex and
just. I can't other things. I can't watch movies with violence against and no rape. I can't watch it. Can't watch rape. Can't watch sexual violence. Can't watch violence against children. I can't. Like, I will get triggered immediately. Yeah. And people putting their hands on me. People don't put their hands on me because it triggers me. Yeah. And you know, when I first.
I want to tell you that I'm familiar with a lot of what you're saying because my spouse is in a similar situation.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and
every time I tell someone about what happened to me, they're like, "Oh yeah, me too."
It's like 8 of the 10 things that you said to me, I'm like, okay, okay. It's like
yeah. It's so common. It's but it's something that people don't like to talk about.
Right. They don't because it's hard to talk about and it's difficult and it's ugly and it feels bad.
It does feel bad. And I used to when I first started having coming to terms with it, I told no one. And
that's not good either.
No. And now I couldn't even speak a word without, just my lip just now I can talk about it because I've gone to therapy, I've channeled all that stuff into my books really. And that's been a huge help to me. So
these books that you have here.
Yes.
I don't know if I'll just put images of them. I won't stick them in the camera. I'll just put images of them on the podcast page. But this is I'm really interested in reading these. I haven't read these. I'm reading my neighbor's book. He's an author.
Oh, cool! Everybody's an author.
No, they're not. they're not. No, but my neighbor is. He's an author and he writes quite a bit. I do some writing.
Does he do fiction, nonfiction?
He does fiction. He writes
cool.
Short stories, horror, and science fiction.
Oh, cool! Yeah. All right. And what's his name?
Will Ludwigson.
I don't think I've met him.
You'll meet him.
Okay.
If we stay friends, you'll meet him.
Awesome. I like meeting other writers.
Oh, yeah, cool. He's a lot of fun. He's been on this podcast before.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so the topic, you were telling me that it's people don't like talking about it, and I have a difficult time. I've had a difficult time with it. I've never had to address this topic or think about this topic for any extended period of time in my life ever.
Lucky you.
Right. But I come from a difficult situation. Yeah. Also, things like that have never happened to me, though. Some other kinds of abuses and terror.
And you know what? I hate it when people compare, because whatever happened to you is just as bad. Whenever people tell me, "Oh, I can't I never complained to you because this happened to you, and whatever's happening to me is not that bad," and I'm like, "No, that's not the way that works. Yeah. If it pains you, then it pains you. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, it wasn't as bad as what I no, that's ridiculous. Yeah. If it hurts your soul and it pains you, then it's worth talking about, and it's worth addressing, and it's worth dealing with." You know what I mean?
I definitely think people should talk about it.
Yeah.
And I can't force other people to be there to listen.
Right.
If they don't want to.
That's
I understand if you don't want to listen to that, right? But but I think the more people talk about it, the more people will get used to it, because I know that the amount of people that are abused is very high. Yep. Especially females, women, Yeah, and the things that I went through are, how do I put it to you? They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I don't talk about them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've dealt with them.
Yes.
Okay. And I close them, and to me, they're now like a bad dream.
Right.
And
I agree. I feel like that too. It was a bad dream. And that's how I'm actually able to talk about it, because when I felt like it was a reality.
Now let me ask you, was there ever any like prosecution or going
No.
after? No.
Because it would be.
That's all too common also.
Well, and the things, I'm what, I'm 2 years old. Like
Right.
I have no proof. I have no nothing.
Your parents didn't realize it.
They didn't.
They didn't realize
well,
it.
they did, but then they kind of dropped it because they were like, "Oh, the free therapist that I went to that was provided by the government, who had clowns in her room, which are really scary." Yeah, I did not feel like opening up to her.
The kind with the cross eyes and
like, just scary clowns. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm here to talk to you, but you have dolls of a bunch of grown men dressed as
right. As
whatever a clown
Pennywise.
is. Yeah, exactly. So I don't really want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like talking about, like I said, I used to not be able to talk about it until after. I'll be honest, till after I moved to Jacksonville. After I wrote my first book, and the great thing about my book is that.
Wait, how long have you lived in this godforsaken city? I'm just
3
kidding.
years.
No, 3 years.
3
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But once I finished that book, I felt better because it's a metaphor for my life, sort of, the first book. And it's in a way that if you read the book and you didn't know, if you read the book and you've never been through anything like that at all, and my book isn't just about what I went through, it's about what children go through, children in general.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
That whole series. Well,
Okay.
the first one more so than the second one.
This is the first one.
No, that's the
this
second
is
one.
the first one.
That's the first one.
Okay.
So, like,
I'm
it's a
gonna let me see if I
metaphor
can
for
see it
my
like
life
this.
and the experiences. And I've had people say to me, I read your book, and I just want you to know that it made me think about this thing that happened to me. And they said, but honestly, if it hadn't happened to me, I never would have known that that's what you were writing about. So it's sort of like people who don't know what I'm writing about, they love it because they love the story. And they say the characters are very real. Because they are. The characters are based on real people.
Yeah, but it has a dog whistle under there. It's like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there is... The undertones of the book are very... Like I'd say the theme is these kids were let down by the adults around them. And now they're experiencing these traumatic things, which in a fantasy world in my book is like beasts and demons and, they're elves and stuff like that. So it's a fantasy version of childhood and how, when the adults around you let you down, you get put in these dangerous situations that you shouldn't otherwise be in. And now you have to clean up their mess because they let you down.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. That reminds me of politics.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
And inheriting problems of a nation or the world.
And yes, it is political in that way too, especially in the second book, now that they are adults and they're having to clean up these messes because a tyrant took over. And so, yeah, there's very much of that too.
And are you, you finished your book, you published it.
Yeah.
It's a book. How was the process of doing that? Do you mind talking about
It's such a pain in the ass.
Really?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. When the first attempt or the first go at it, how much did you put down on paper, so to speak?
Okay. So the first book started out at 117,000 words. Then you rewrite it. So then I think I cut out, in your first book, you don't want to cut out anything because you're like, it's my work. I love it. Every part of it is so good.
Yeah.
So then I think I cut like 5,000 words out of it. Then I sent it on to my editor and I rewrote it 5 times before sending it to her. And I still only ended up cutting out like 5,000 or 6,000 words.
Yeah.
And she cuts out like another 10.
10,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 words.
Because when you first write a book, a lot of it is like just your mind on paper, and you're adding things in there that's you creating the world in your head, and the reader doesn't need to know. It's not important to the story. Like overall, it'll be important as the story goes on, but it's not important. It doesn't need to be written down like that.
Okay.
And so my editor cleaned it up, and it's about 90,000 words, I think. 95. Sorry. The first one is 95,000.
How many? I don't know what that means. Like, how many pages is that?
That one, well, it depends on the size of the book, too.
Okay.
So that's a 5x8.
Yeah.
And it's about 300 pages.
Like, these are what I would call standard books. Like, I wouldn't, how people are afraid of books.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be afraid of these books. This one may be a little bit more, but this one's got more muscle on it right here. It's like,
I assure you the extra 100 pages in that book are worthwhile.
Yeah, very good. So, lately I've been reading books like The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, cool. All right.
Just these huge books, well,
writing has changed a lot since then.
Yeah, and I spent 6 months with that book, and I missed the characters and all that kind of stuff. And so my...
and that's more omniscient, right? Third person omniscient, like sort of like Lord of the Rings is told, like an all-knowing narrator.
And he was, and then she was, and then he said...
Well, yes and no, but like the narrator knows things the characters don't.
Hang on, let me think for a moment.
There's a lot of telling and less dialogue. A lot of telling, like this happened, like this.
Okay, well, The Count of Monte Cristo is I remember it as pretty even.
I would assume that it's omniscient. Like nowadays, they don't like omniscient anymore.
Okay, but The Brothers Karamazov was full of the narrator telling you what's happening.
Okay, so definitely omniscient.
Yeah.
So like nowadays, like I began writing my book as omniscient because I'm a huge fan of J.R.R. Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, but that's not the way people write anymore. People don't like it as much because it is more wordy, it's drawn out.
Why don't they like it?
It's less in the character's head. It's less like a television show.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. So we love TV, we love television, we like the way stories are told in movies and television. How most books are written in the third person nowadays is third person limited, which means it's he said, she said, they, blah, blah, blah. But you can only see into one character's head at a time. So like in whatever scene, you can only see into this character's head. And then you can't get into the next character's head until the next chapter, the next asterisk or whatever. So it's sort of like watching a TV show versus getting told a story. Whereas Tolkien and like Count of Monte Cristo, that's like a narrator telling a story. Whereas books nowadays are like, I'm sitting down to watch a book, kind of, is the difference.
Yeah, I first experienced that really strongly with the Dan Brown book, The Da Vinci Code. I'm like, this is a movie script, you know? And
it's fast paced. It moves along.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that book, but it made very little impact on me. Like I don't remember anything about it.
Conspiracy theories are what they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun, but there was it looked like a movie script.
Right.
It read like a movie script.
Now, a lot of the big publishers will do that to their books, especially in those sorts of genres, thrillers, crime thrillers, conspiracy theory books. They're going to be more, like you said, movie scripty. Whereas my books are less like that because they're fantastical and they're based a lot on world building. You're exploring a world with this person. It's less like that. So there's a lot more detail than, say, a Da Vinci Code, which means you have to find the right editor. Because the first editor that I was going to hire, she'd never edited a fantasy book before. And she goes, you just have too much detail. You can't have this. And I'm thinking to myself, no, we need that.
Detail,
so needless to say, I had to let her go.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Not only that, but the first thing she said to me was, because I have dogs in my book, she goes, I think that the relationship between the main character and the dog is over exaggerated. Why would the dog care if the human killed itself? Or something like that. And I go, well, you're not the right person for me because my dog would definitely care if I died. So
you found a different editor that has worked with fantasy before? Okay.
And oh my gosh, her name is Elizabeth Keenan and she is amazing.
Really?
Amazing.
Wow.
She taught me so much and in such a nice, non-confrontational way. made my book what it is. So.
And did you do a lot of moving around of stuff for the book, or the story was pretty set?
The first book is very linear.
Okay.
It follows only 2 characters, and it follows them linearly. So the first half of the book is the female character, and the second half of the book is about the male character.
Okay.
And his childhood flashback.
So I'm talking to you. You're an author, and around 2007, my English was still very bad, if you ask me, and my writing was still very bad. Not that it's amazing now, although my wife likes it. She thinks I'm a good writer, but I don't really show anybody much. Well, anything that I write in too much detail, like let's say 5,000 words.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't show that yet.
You should go to a writer's group.
Maybe. I'm a musician.
I will tell you though, writers, no offense to all the wonderful writers out there, but most writers are pretty pretentious, and sometimes sitting down in a group of them, everyone knows how to be the best writer.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Like just read it and then we'll move on. Just tell me it's good and, and move on. But no, they're fun people.
So do you see yourself writing for the rest of your life?
Yes.
You see yourself? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. I already have, I have these stories that come, I say stories, but I don't like saying that. I have these characters that come to me, and I have to write them. I have another series that's coming out in this winter. It's called Dark December Chronicles, and it's much different than...
How much time passed between these 2 books?
A year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the
That's
first
wild.
book, the shorter one took me longer to write because I was only able to write during the summer when I wasn't teaching.
So do you write the stuff that is not fantasy? Do you write nonfiction?
No,
things?
I don't write any nonfiction.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I mean, I'm good at writing nonfiction stuff. For school, when I was in my master's degree, I graduated with distinction for my master's paper because I wrote this 70-page article on how horrible violence and punishment in the schools are.
Yeah.
But shout out to my old principal.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I excel at writing in most arenas, but I prefer to write stories. I prefer to write characters.
I know. Well, I veer towards nonfiction.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but I just do.
You're a teacher.
Well, I look at my writing, and I have this idea in my mind, and it's quite brilliant.
So
and then I go and I read it. I'm like, this is.
So you're writing about
retarded.
Music, or you're writing about I'm assuming when you say nonfiction.
I'm a sociologist.
Okay, so sort of. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sociologist. I've been that way since I was a kid.
Too.
Yeah.
So I understand people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
which makes it easier to write.
People amaze me, and they're the most amazing thing to me, and they're the most tragic thing to me.
Yes, agreed. I could not agree with you more. I struggle with that every day.
They just are. Oh yeah, yeah. And so I want to ask you about something else.
Yeah.
You're a bodybuilder. Hello. You're a bodybuilder.
I was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Yes. I still bodybuild, but I don't compete anymore.
Yeah. So you were used to going competitions and things like that.
But I won't do that again. It's too hard. For anyone, I think they say 1% of the population does it. And I'm glad I did it, and I'm proud that I did it. But I honestly knows what it feels like to be starving, and I don't want to feel that again.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, because you bulk up, you put on all this weight and all this muscle, and then you have to, but you can't see it until you lean out. And
so what attracted you to bodybuilding?
Okay, so as part of my whole PTSD thing.
Okay, that's what I figured.
When I started having my flashbacks, when I was 27, I started having my flashbacks. I used means that I shouldn't have to deal with my pain. I stopped going to therapy. I started drinking a lot and putting myself in situations I shouldn't have been in. Because I wanted the pain to go away. I just wanted it to go away. I just want to stop seeing these things in my head. I want to stop feeling these feelings.
Do you still drink? Do you drink at all?
Not really.
No.
Socially. I wasn't an alcoholic. I would say more binge drinker.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not physically addicted to alcohol, but I found myself in a situation where I was involved with the police, and the officer that I dealt with was probably not my ideal candidate. And he put his hands on me, and I spent a night in jail with bruises, and he took control of my body. And I didn't leave the house for about a year. Because I already was in my flashbacks. I was already having the PTSD. And then after the thing with the officer happened, it sent me... That was it for me. I wanted to die. I was going to kill myself. I saw no point in going on. I could not live in that hell anymore.
Why? Because of the world that you were living in?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I was afraid to leave my house. I was afraid because in my head, it was like the people that are supposed to serve and protect me are the people who have the most power, and they can hurt me. If those people, if police officers can hurt me, then anyone can hurt me, and I'm not safe.
Yeah.
I'm not safe here. And I just want, and I also felt like, oh my God, the way that I was punished by the officer or whatever, officers, I felt like maybe they're right. Maybe I am a piece of shit. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe I deserved everything that happened.
Yeah, I think that's common even when something that extreme doesn't happen concerning police officers.
Yeah.
Because a police officer has so much power behind them from society.
Right.
Like if they decide that they need to go after you, your picture's going to be all over the news and everybody's going to be like, they need to go after her.
Right.
And it's like there's nowhere to run.
Exactly. No,
and
it's
subconsciously they know that. So some of them take advantage of it.
Exactly. And not only that,
and they're not necessarily smarter than you.
For someone who already has PTSD, having that already dealing with the guilt of what happened to me, thinking that was my fault, what happened to me as a kid was my fault. Now I'm like, oh my God. And so, like I said, I didn't leave the house for a year. And
I think that could happen to somebody even if they don't, even if without the past that you had.
Right. But it did make it far worse. And, no charges were brought against me because of what happened.
And what happened to the officers?
Nothing.
Likely story.
And that's because during that time, Albuquerque Police Department was under investigation by the FBI, and they had been for a few years because of their militaristic way of training police officers and seeing the civilian as the enemy.
What year was this?
Oh, gosh. It was
around
about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Do you remember when they shot that homeless man in the mountains?
No.
In
Albuquerque?
There was a homeless man. This was like the last strike, and people were like marching through the streets and like rioting over this whole thing because there's a video of it on YouTube. This man getting murdered.
I'm not gonna watch it.
The Albuquerque Police Department goes up into the mountains to this homeless man, and he won't come down from the rock that he's on, and they're like, "You need to come down here right now." They're yelling at him, blah blah blah, and then the man moves to pull something out. I think it was like a knife. You could see that it was a knife. And these guys are like 20 feet away or whatever. They have a beanbag gun with them, but they don't use it. Instead, they use the AK. They kill the guy.
Yeah.
They just, with an automatic rifle.
Yeah.
Then after he's already dead on the ground, they hit him with the beanbag gun.
It's a free shot. Like they can do it.
Yeah. Well, the city was very displeased and rose up, and like I said, the FBI had been investigating them for a while. I'd read, after that all happened to me, I read several reports on, what was going on, because I already had an interest in criminology, because one of my degrees is in criminology. And
so this is in Albuquerque, and you lived there 13 years.
Yes.
And I know that because I'm psychic, people.
So he is.
No.
Magic. So my brother's a bodybuilder. Moving on with the story. Your brother? My brother was a bodybuilder. Yeah. This was during the time I didn't leave my house. And the first time I left my house was to go to this bodybuilding competition because I promised my brother that I would. So I had to buck up and I had to go because he's my brother and I love him. And, he took care of me when, no one else was. And so
you stepped out of the house.
I got out of the house.
With your brother.
Did my hair for the first time and forever, felt a little bit human again. And I was watching these women in the women's division in the it's called figure versus bodybuilding. In the figure division, go up there on stage, and they just look so strong. Like nothing could tear them down. And you know they had worked really hard to get there, that they had to overcome things to get to that point. And I said to my brother when he got done, I said, I want to be that. I want to be her. I want to be that. And at first he thought I was joking, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll train you. I said, okay, but I'm serious. He's like, yeah. And then I was very serious. And for 9 months, I trained and then competed.
And how were you mentally by the time that you were at the competition?
Better.
Where were you? Yeah.
Far better. Because I had to go to the gym. So I had to leave the house to go to the gym. And then also during this time, I got a full-time teaching job. So I had to leave the house to go to work, which was only like 2 minutes from my house. I can walk there. Just going to the gym and started training got me out of the house. And then I started working again. That got me out of the house. So I was teaching full-time and prepping for this bodybuilding competition. And it was rough. I'm not going to lie and say that it was easy, because it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
To compete in bodybuilding.
To train, because the whole time you have to stay on a strict diet.
Yeah, I mean, not that part. I mean, I know it could be extreme, but I just love difficult things.
You should try it. Let me put it this way. Like, the first half of it is the bulking, and you eat so much food that like you just don't want to eat food anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, no, every 3 hours you have to eat a certain amount of food, and it has to be the same food, like pretty much every time. Chicken and rice, chicken and sweet potatoes with vegetables mixed in. I think my third meal I'd always throw up.
Like a dog.
Like I couldn't get it down. I would just be like,
you go through food
I'd
every
be
day.
sitting at my desk, like just trying to choke it down, and the kids would be like, oh, Miss Jojola.
Yeah. Wow.
Because sometimes they come in for lunch. But I'm like, all right, it's not.
They call you what? Miss Jojola?
Miss Jojola, what are you doing?
They were Hispanic?
Yeah.
In Albuquerque? Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. They're so great. I miss my students so much. But yeah, and then the second half is you cutting down. So they call it cutting because you cut amounts. Every week you cut it down. You cut the amount that you're eating down. That's a systematic and not perfect. It's imperfect, but it's more perfect way of losing weight, which is what most people in our society don't understand. You can't just lose weight overnight. Yeah. You have to cut, and I went from like eating a half a cup of rice to eating a quarter cup of rice at every meal, but I was still eating every 3 hours. There was never a time I wasn't eating every 3 hours. I was always eating every 3 hours until right before the show. What I was eating every 3 hours was 1 ounce of chicken and...
What is that, a chicken nugget?
Yeah. It's like almost 2 chicken nuggets. 1 ounce of chicken and 12 almonds.
Wow.
Every 3 hours.
And who prescribed an ounce of chicken and 12 almonds to you?
My brother.
Oh. Why the almonds?
You need fats in your diet. If you're cutting out carbs, you have to replace them with fats, or else your body will eat your brain.
Wow. Your body will eat your brain.
And your muscle tissue and your liver and your organs.
Like, I got a crazy visual from that.
Yeah. So your body will eat something. It will find something to eat. And it doesn't always go to fat first. It goes to other things. Now, if you're eating fats, it will go to fat first. But if you're not eating fats, it won't go to fats first. That's the key. It's called a ketogenic diet. You eat protein and fats so that your body burns mostly fats. Now, carbohydrates are the best gas to run on, okay? It's like premium. Now, when you're running on fats, it's not so premium. It's like crappy gas. You don't know where it came from, and your brain doesn't function as well. So, like, during that time, I think I ripped the bricks off the garage with my car because I backed out wrong. I told the kids I couldn't spell anymore. They were going to have to use the dictionary. Luckily, that was in like the last semester of school. So
in a sense, you're saying that being a meathead in that way makes you actually dumb, like a meathead.
No. Cutting down makes you dumb. Any extreme dieting of any kind is bad for your brain. Like people who do no carb diets. Yeah. Sorry, your brain isn't functioning at
it seems like anything to the extreme concerning diet is just wrong.
Ketogenic diets were actually designed for people who were diabetic.
And that's all fat, right? Ketogenic,
Yeah, and protein, and I think you can have like light amount of.
But
you're
carbs. Trying to stay at ketosis is what they call it, and then
right. So the diet was originally designed for diabetic people because they have blood sugar issues, which are related to carbohydrates. which are sugars.
Which are sugars. It
So-
all turns into sugar.
You
Potatoes.
need your sugar. You need that. So yeah, I know what it feels like to be starving.
So how do you eat now? What do you like to eat now?
I still try and get my
Thai food?
I still try and get my macros in. Like I try to eat enough protein, but
Salads.
I eat chips a lot.
Chips?
I
Like
have
what?
a chip addiction. Salt and vinegar chips and
So where should your fans send the chips to?
Lemon
You got a P.O.
Island.
box? You got a P.O.
Fleming
box?
Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I just eat chips. I eat a lot of chips and cookies and I eat pretty much whatever I want.
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
I lift so much and I lift so heavy that honestly it doesn't really matter what I eat.
Yeah.
I like to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I work hard every day so that I can eat whatever I want. I still lift so that I can eat cake.
Yeah.
And love it and not have to worry about it and say, oh, gains. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's important. It's important to be physically active. It's really important, and it's something that everybody knows has been lacking in America for so many people. And it's funny because I hear like people say, "Oh, I want this laptop because it's so light." I'm like, "What do you want it to be light for? Aren't we supposed to be
you wanna
working
carry
out?"
it around.
Right?
Hold
yeah.
that up above your head. Shoulders.
Right. Just get the heaviest laptop.
Oh, yeah.
Put that over your shoulder.
It's way worse for women. I feel like, women are always telling me, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do? What's your secret?" I don't have a secret. They're like, "You're muscular, but you're not too big." I'm like, well, number one, I'm not huge because I'm a woman, and I'm not going to turn into a man because I'm not a man
You need to take roids.
unless I take testosterone.
or
So
testosterone.
yeah, it doesn't matter if I lift heavy. I'm not going to be huge. That's a myth. I'm still going to look like a woman. And they're like, oh, what do you do? Like, how much cardio do you do? Like, almost none. Because, like, I don't care about cardio. Cardio is boring. I go lift, and then I walk and read.
Yeah. So you walk you read while you're walking?
Yeah.
How can you? Why?
On the treadmill.
I see. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a picture of you walking to the park. and
I'm
the
going to
dog
try
running
that
around.
and see what happens. So
I've tried
get
it
mugged.
before. It's all right.
Because you're not looking around. You're not aware. They're like, oh, woman
Yeah.
reading. Rah.
Or a dog come out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Or you'll hit something. You'll hit a tree or something. Or you'll
Oh,
trip.
yeah, definitely. I would do that.
That's what would happen.
On the treadmill, I kind of weave while I'm reading. I'm like, oh, shit.
When I get really into a book, I wish that I could read while I'm driving and while everything. I just want to keep reading this book. And I'm like,
audiobooks.
Well, it's not the
not
same.
as good for your brain.
No. Well, it's just not the same. It isn't. I'm like, the person's voice is not my inner voice. He doesn't sound like this anymore.
Thank you for saying that
Yeah.
because I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get a lot of people like, are you on audiobooks yet? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do audiobooks until the whole
You should
series
totally
is
do it,
done.
though. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some people who are just not going to read your book.
Right, exactly. But they're going to have to wait.
Like my brother, he's not going to read your book. He would love to listen to it, but he's
Yeah?
not going to read
Yeah?
it. Yeah.
Well, he can come over. I'll read it to him.
That's it. That's different. Isn't that different? A new kind of a gig.
Yeah.
A live
Have a-
reading.
Oh.
Buy $20 tickets,
Personal,
everybody.
like,
get
I
some
mean, they
wine
do.
and-
Authors do that, but they don't read the whole entire book. They just read like excerpts from the book. And I feel like, why am I going to read excerpts when the whole thing's so damn good? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would take you. It would take you
That one a
like
while.
24 hours or
Yeah.
30, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Something-
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one's longer. The other one, I've had people finish it in a weekend.
Yeah, I can't do that.
The
I've never been
one
able to do that.
troll that read my book.
Troll.
The one
Okay,
troll
yeah.
that read my book in one night. It's my one bad review that I have.
Oh, really?
And it's really
Wow.
trolly.
Yeah.
She's just like,
This bitch.
she's like, I can't relate to any of the characters, and you don't even know who the bad guy is, and this and this and that. And I'm like, you read it in one night. The reason you missed A, B, C, and D is because
Yeah.
you were reading it way
Yeah.
too fast. There's no way you finished this in one night. Like, that's crazy. And if you did, you like just got the gist of what was going on. But then I looked at her Goodreads profile because at first I thought, oh my God, who is this person and why are they trying to destroy me? And then, because as an author, that's the first thing you think. Or I'm sure as a musician, do you ever get reviews on your stuff and you're like, oh God.
I don't give it.
But
You know, I do. People, I've just gotten so
You get
tough-skinned
used to it.
with that.
yeah. Well, this was my first bad review ever in my entire life. I sat and stared at that.
And I know when I suck, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
so
yeah,
do
that's
I.
that show
But the thing
sucked.
about writers
That show-
is that they always think they suck, even when it's good. we think we suck. We're like, oh, the story's stupid. They're right. Oh, never should have wrote it. Horrible.
Okay. For example, you're talking about that. If you ask me about something that I wrote in the morning or before 3, right? It's pretty good, or it's
pretty
great,
awesome, right?
And then if you ask me when I'm tired at like 10:30 p.m. or 11, I'm like, I'm so stupid.
What am I even doing?
Yeah, what is this? So I learned, do not review your work at night, and there I go.
And there it is.
Because I want it to be so good that even when I'm low, it's still good.
No,
but
I do that too.
Well, look, but then I go just to test it. I go and I read an article. Let's see if I like this article. I knew I loved this article, and I go and I read this article, and I'm like, I hate this article
I'm
too.
gonna have to try that.
This is great.
Like, put on a movie I really like. Oh, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Everything's garbage. No, writers is the same way. I'll write. I'll be like, oh, I just read through the first 6 chapters. So good. And then later on, I'll edit it. I'll like go through it for the 3rd time and say, I don't know. This sucks. I don't think this was ever good. Was it ever good? Was it ever good? Why did I just waste all these months writing all these pages? Like,
Wow.
I don't know.
That's tough, yeah.
And then you read it again and you're like, oh, it's good. No, oh, shit, it's not good.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So I've had to learn with music and my very dabblings with writing. I've had to learn that I have to just have faith in the fact that if I sit with it and work on it, it'll probably be good.
Hopefully.
It's like almost always. It's almost always good. It's rare that it's like I've sat with something for 24 hours and it's not good.
But there's always that fear because, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Those people in your artist realm who think that they're amazing. And then you're like, oh, I can't wait to see or hear what you've done. And then you do, and you're like, oh, God.
I'm sorry. I was looking at this. You said the people in your artist realm?
I'm saying in the artist realm in general.
Oh, okay,
there are people out there
they come out
who
with
think
something
that they're great. They're like,
and
then you read it or you listen to it or whatever, and you're like, oh.
Are you talking about local, though? Or are you talking about all over?
I'm just talking about artists in general, like all over the world.
Yeah.
And there's those people that is like, and you don't want to be one of those people. You're so afraid that you're like, oh my God, I think this is awesome. But what if it really is horrible?
Yeah.
What if it really is just god awful? I don't want to be one of those people.
You don't want to be one of those authors, or you don't want to be one of those people reading that?
I don't want to be one of those authors that's like, oh, my work is so great. I've already like published 50 books. Like, and
who is like that? Stephen King?
No.
He's good,
There are
right?
just a lot of independent authors who just write, and they write a lot, but they don't like use editors or take the care to, and then they think, and then they're just like, I'm an author and I'm the best, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? What's happening? Like, I just don't want to be that person who creates something just because I think it's awesome. I think I'm awesome. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think if you're self-critical, you can't be that way.
I'm just the worst at being self-critical. I'm
great
so hard on myself.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like
Most artists are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or people that produce anything good, they're the worst critic, as they say.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. And, yeah.
That's why I worry when I think something is great, that it actually isn't. I guess it's sort of that like.
So just don't read it at night. Don't read it when you're tired. So does your husband review your work?
Yes.
Okay, and you trust his opinion on it or no?
I don't really use him for opinions.
I'm talking about him like he's not here.
I don't really use him for opinions because I use him for reviewing the book because he's a concrete thinker. You want a guitar?
You can play the guitar while we do this.
Yeah. I'm an abstract thinker, like to the max, and he's a really concrete thinker. Okay. So he and I think completely differently. Okay. So I use him as more of a, did you catch this? Like to catch things, like that logical people would catch. Yeah. He thinks everything I create is great.
That's not good.
Because he's a concrete, thinker, and he's just like, I never could have thought of this. You know, so to him, it's always amazing because he's a concrete thinker. He's the math person. He's like the guy that, you know, A plus B equals C. He's not the world creator. So anything I create, he's just like, where did you get this? Where did it come from? He always thinks it's amazing. So mostly I just use him for the technical stuff. And then I use beta readers for the creative stuff.
Beta readers, is that like a job, like on the internet?
No. It's just people who
I think it's a new band name.
People who like you and your work, or who even maybe don't like you and your work, you ask them to read the very first, before it even sees the editor.
Yeah.
You ask them to read the manuscript of your book.
Oh, I've been a beta reader before.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Odin.
Did you get compensated?
No. He was a friend of mine.
I'm kidding. We usually don't.
Oh, yeah.
Writers are poor.
Yeah.
So we're just like, you're reading this, you just get to read it before everyone else does. But yeah, you have your beta readers look at it, and you go back and forth over concepts, and they'll tell you, I didn't like this part, or maybe you should change this part, or this was difficult to read, or whatever. And they will give me more of the in-depth stuff, whereas my husband will just give me the technical. Like, I found the spelling error or whatever.
Yeah, you need more than one opinion, I think,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, because you have these different minds, and it'd be good if you can get a good cross section of different people: logical thinker, an artistic thinker,
Right.
and somebody who hates
men
you,
and
somebody who
women.
likes you.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
hate me? Read this.
Yeah, that would be just great.
I don't know anyone who outright hates me here in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Oh, you
if
just
you're-
wait.
If you're out there, let me know. Like in Albuquerque, I know exactly who hates me because I lived there for so long. But here, like, I hardly know anyone. So it's like, if they do, they're keeping it under wrap.
So are you a loner or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer to be.
Typical artist type.
I
of
prefer to
loner.
be alone.
You're a loner too? Your husband's a loner?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I were both loners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so you
trouble.
guys never leave the house.
We have to work at. We do. We go outdoors a lot. We do things. We go to the park.
But with
and
other human beings.
we do that. Not that often.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stressful,
and-
right?
But it's a weird mix. It's whenever I say something like that, yes, it is stressful. By the way, yes, whenever I say something like that, like I label myself as something or somebody else.
Yeah.
Right away, all these contradictions start happening in my mind. No, but this time, and then that, and then no, but it's like this.
Yeah,
because
I'm
she's
the
way
exact
more
same
social
way.
than I am. Like she can go to a festival and be there all day. Like, and just music's playing on stages, and she's talking to people at like 3 hours.
I can if there's like tequila involved. When it shuts
don't
off
care
that like
what it is.
paranoid
It's
part
like,
of my brain, it's like
3 hours, 4 hours maximum for me. And I'm like, I've heard this description about introverts, which I'm an introvert who's in a position of having to be an extrovert.
Same.
Because I'm playing music and stuff
Same.
like that.
Yep.
And so I've heard that it's exhausting for introverts.
it is incredibly exhausting.
And that supposedly you've taken so much data. You go to a party, you're there for 2 hours, and you've just taken in so much data.
because
You're
we're
good for a
always
week.
observing. We're always collecting data and observing. And I think that's what people don't understand. Like, you think I'm not watching? I'm watching everything that's going on. I see everything that happens. I see you. You think I don't see you, but I see you.
I'm like the fucking NSA.
Yeah, like I see you. That's why. So I have to sell my books. I don't have to, but I try and sell my books at conventions because it's a good way to pick up fans and meet people.
Yeah.
And I have MegaCon coming up, and like
Where is that? New York?
Orlando.
Okay, Orlando.
Yeah, it's huge this year, and like once I'm there and I'm like behind the table and I'm selling my books, I do great. Like I'm good at interacting with people. I can do that. I'm a friendly person for the most part, unless you try to touch me or you say something really stupid. But like for the most part, people enjoy coming and talking to me and interacting with me. But after it's all over, I feel like I've been hit by a train. Like I can't see anyone for like a month.
Yeah.
And I just go back into my cave and just hide.
So what do you like about it? What do you like about being an introvert? Like,
What do I like about it?
yeah, what do you like about it? Like, what to me, it's just so.
I think it makes my life more difficult, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
Because-
yeah, I could see that. Me
Especially
too.
moving to a new place. I've been here in Jacksonville for almost 3 years, and I have like no like super, super close friends to speak of like those. And I'm not someone who likes to have a lot of friends. I like to have a few people that I'm really, really close to who really, really know me and who I am and how I operate, and I know them at the same level. I'm just not good with having a multitude of people in my arena because, like I said, I try to give them an equal amount of attention. I try to see everyone for who they really are. And that's really hard when you've got 500 people that you're having to keep track of. Because then you have to start picking and choosing. Like,
That's why Facebook is difficult for you then.
I
Because
hate
you're like
it.
an empath in that way.
yes.
And you're trying to
I'm
give
incredibly
attention to people.
empathic.
And that's why I had to quit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this dude that I barely know has cancer. Oh my
And it's
God.
like, I
And
feel
I'm
so
like,
horrible. Yeah, it's awful. It's stressful.
And they live
really
in
is.
like Texas.
Yeah, I had to kind of weed through my Facebook because I had people on there that I didn't really know personally, and they want to follow me and know what I'm doing, but it's like I don't have the energy to give you because I give my friends I give them a piece of me essentially. So it's hard to dole out all these pieces to all these people.
Yeah,
I can't do superficial. I'm not a superficial person. I'm just not. And I have tried to not care or be more surface, but I just can't. It's just not how I operate. It's just not.
Yeah, and to try to distribute yourself over a social media platform like that is just impossible if you're like that. And
it's hard.
So I've been reduced, or you could say I like it this way better. I'm most of the time I'm a Twitter bot.
Yeah.
And I just use some.
I barely tweet. I feel like nothing I say anyone cares about.
Well, it's just Twitter doesn't work like
that. Only I care about it.
Like they see it, they just don't say anything, and that's fine. You have to have faith. Like their like button, Twitter's like button is they're following you. Otherwise, they won't follow you.
It's like a star or something.
Like a movie star?
It's like a little star.
Oh.
I think if they like something.
Yeah, but I don't care. Like what I mean is, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
It's very anonymous in a way. I can see that being appealing. This is why I say I hate Facebook. I hate personal Facebook, but I like my Facebook page, my author page. I love, and I'll tell you why. Remember how I said I like to have personal and intimate relationships with people in my life? Facebook allows me to have that with my readers. They message me. They talk to me. They want to know me on a personal level, not just on a superficial level, which I enjoy.
Yeah, this is my attempt at my solution, what we're doing right here.
I like it.
Yeah, it's my solution because I'm knocking out two birds with one stone. I'm meeting people and I'm talking, having conversations, and it's social media, and I can't be taken out of context.
That's true. Yeah, that's the other
Go
thing.
watch the whole video,
you write
man.
up something and people are like, what? Because tone can be inferred in any way in writing, unless you're excellent at it.
Yeah, so how are you doing? You okay? Do you have to go anywhere? You have to go somewhere? How are you? You're in that uncomfortable chair over there. You don't want to play the guitar? Okay. You can play your mandolin over there. So I met you at a comic book convention, Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And
free comic book day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so you frequent and you do cosplay, maybe?
I do cosplay.
Okay. And it's fascinating to me. I don't know much about cosplay, so I have a fresh perspective on cosplay. And I think
just keep it that way.
Why?
I've had to kind of take a step back from cosplay.
Really?
Because God, I don't want to offend anyone.
First, let me ask you before you tell me that.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that people don't get about cosplay, do you think?
Why?
Well, okay. Okay, so you're going to tell me. You don't want to offend anybody, but...
Well, first, I'll say the why of people cosplay.
Okay.
Cosplaying is just another route to becoming someone that you're not. It's a way of expressing yourself. It's stepping into a character's shoes and becoming that character for a day, which is why I like cosplay. It's like Halloween, but all the time.
Yeah.
You get to be this other person. Maybe it's this character that you love so much from your favorite movie or your favorite video game or whatever. To me, that's the appeal of it.
Okay. That's the appeal of it.
Yes.
Okay, now do you mind if I tell you what I was thinking about cosplay with my fresh perspective?
Please tell me.
I was thinking today, because I knew you were going to be on, I was thinking cosplay, she does cosplay. I don't know anything about cosplay. It's like, you know what? Life is kind of like cosplay every day. And like these people become a persona, and it's like, and this person is a business person, and this person's a stressed out smoker, and they're like, oh, I'm just so stressed out, man. It's like, I don't sleep.
Yeah.
And
it's your image.
Yeah. So... Okay, so
it's taking on someone else's image, an image that you could never be in real life because it's a fictional character. Because fictional characters get away with pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's great about cosplay. The part of it that isn't sometimes appealing to me is I will cosplay as one of my characters or something, and I'm a woman. I have breasts, small ones, but they're still there. And people want to sexualize you. because in a lot of the
That's how we
time in the
got here.
cosplay realm, that's what men
you
do.
mean- okay,
they
yeah.
sexual because
Yeah.
it's kind of like geek. It's kind of like geek Playboy in a way. These women dress up in these characters that these guys already love.
Guys are salivating.
And they're well endowed and they're pretty and they look great and and men love that. But I don't want to be touched. I don't want people doing whatever they do with my photograph. I don't.
So
That part of it bothers me. But I've been dressed as one of my characters, original characters from my book, and had people like, I want to do like a photo shoot with you, and I want to like, you're gonna be a model, and I'm like, I don't want to be a model. I'm not a model. Like, I'm a writer. I'm an introvert. I don't need people fawning over me as this fake character. I want them to read the book and love the character that way. But at the same time, I love dressing as my characters because my characters are cool. So I don't know.
So, yeah, I could totally see that happening there. I've never gotten into it, and if I had to like join a group of people that were doing something, I would definitely pick like cosplaying over like a real estate meeting, like real estate agents.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah.
Cosplayers are fun and they're great and they're funny, but for the younger generation, what I've seen that is negative about it. Not my generation, not us like 30-year-olds and up, but like younger generations, like teenagers that I see a lot, and young girls going into their 20s, they want to be popular like these models are. And so they will start an Instagram and they'll start just posting pictures of themselves with little clothing on just so they can get those likes and be like, and then say, I'm a cosplayer.
So they can go pay their rent with their Instagram likes.
And I'm not hating on that if that's your journey. That's totally
that internet
your journey.
currency. Yeah.
But like, take that journey because you love it, not because you need the attention or not because there's something else missing. Do you know what I mean? And if you're a young, beautiful woman, just remember that anything you post, like, that's up there forever. Even after you delete it, somebody saved it.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
Yeah, I'm an archivist myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm a digital hoarder because I don't have faith in somebody else's server computer. And if I like something, I will download it. I'm like, because this is important. I'm running out of room in my hard drive.
I did a katana cosplay because I went to an event, and katana. God, I'm an idiot. Let me just say, I'm an idiot.
Katana is the fighting.
I'm ripped. Like I was ripped at the time. I was like, I'm gonna do this katana cosplay. I'm gonna look like a badass. It's gonna be so cool, right? Like everyone's gonna be like, wow, your muscles and like your fans and you look like katana. Nope. There are so many pictures of my butt out there that I now can't get rid of. And that's not why I did the cosplay.
Yeah.
That's not what I did it for. I did it because when I was a kid, I loved katana and I played katana a lot. And I love katana. I have since deleted all in any photos that I could find of that and retired the cosplay.
Tell me again, what is the character from?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say Fight Champion.
Mortal Kombat. But yeah, like, and people ask me like, oh, this event's coming up. You should bring your katana cosplay. And it's like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's fine for other people, but because of my past and because of my beliefs, my beliefs is that the over sexualization of women is just running rampant. I don't want to be that. I love katana still though. Like I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about that, the over sexualization of women. And I think about different things that I didn't think about before, being the father of future women. Okay. But concerning where I'm at now is, okay, sex is a very big, important part of who we are. And that's how we got here.
Sells.
Well, besides that, I understand that it sells, but it sells for a reason. And I'm trying to figure out what that reason is. Is it because we're repressed? Is it because it does?
It's very primal.
Okay. Is it because, like, if we lived in a different society, would we actually not want that?
Probably not. I think we probably would. I think in this male-centric society, it's just been a lot of like women are so sexualized. I wonder if it was different, if males would be more sexualized. Like, let's
If
take
it was if the tables were turned, you mean?
Let's take school dress code, for instance.
I want to see men in yoga pants.
Yeah,
You want to start wearing yoga pants?
Well, I want to see every man at the gym in yoga pants.
Yeah. It's a new podcast, men in yoga pants.
A few particular ones I can think of. But like, take school dress code, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a teacher, or the kids at school can't wear sleeveless shirts because like women's shoulders are sexualized, but men's shoulders are not sexualized. So like a girl can't wear a tank top, but a guy can.
Men's shoulders are sexualized, though.
I mean, I know I sexualize them.
Yeah. but I'm saying they are,
It's just,
you know.
I don't know. Like,
Anyway, I'm not trying to point out a double standard or anything like that. I'm like,
I got you.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
There are no double standards in this country. We live in America.
I'm just saying, I'll tell you what, we haven't had internet at home for like 6 months now on purpose.
Oh my gosh, how's that working?
It's I can't tell you about it right now. It's just too much. That's what I'm writing about.
Oh, okay.
Cool. and
so you are sort of doing research in a way.
Yeah, and I've had internet at home steadily for the past, I don't know,
25, 30 years?
13 years, something like that. And so it's different, but I don't want to get off on that. It'll totally throw me off track.
Random tangent.
But I was saying that because you said, my brain's getting tired. I was saying that because you forget about that, what I just said.
Okay.
Somebody
give this guy a Snickers.
Yeah, somebody gave me a Snickers. But you were talking about the sexualization of women in the community of cosplay.
Yeah.
And and I could see that. And so yeah, the whole topic is messy. I'm gonna leave it alone right now. We'll get back to it at a later date. How did you get into cosplay?
I think it's because I saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel. They had a show called Heroes of Cosplay, and I was like, why haven't I been doing this my whole life? And how come I didn't know about it? And then I remembered it's because I was in college and doing the straight and narrow stuff, and I missed all that really cool stuff during that time. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn
so you went
higher
to college?
Education.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm the first person in my family to go to college.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much.
I feel like my 4-year degrees were a waste of my time. My
Well,
master's degree was
dropped
fabulous,
out.
but
I left and
good for you.
I got a scholarship opportunity here. That's one of the reasons that I moved here, for theory and composition of music.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't go.
Well,
And I was going to get married, and I didn't get married.
I was a teacher, so all the time they'd tell me like push this idea of getting a 4-year degree, and I would tell them I'm not going to do that to my students. I said,
I wouldn't do it either.
I said, you know what? Because that's bull. Not everyone was made to go to a 4-year school. There are other routes and options that they can do that are totally viable. Yeah, really. Seriously, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Richard Feynman.
Exactly. Most of the most genius people really didn't even attend college. And it's like, if they want to go into some sort of trade, we should have more trade schools.
Noam Chomsky.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should have more trade schools, first of all, that cater to those sorts of things. And I'm not going to sit here and tell people they have to go to school for 4 years that are thinking in their head, well, I can't make it in society because I can't go to a 4-year school. Then I'm counting all these kids out. It's like, you don't have to do that. You will find something that's right for you, and it doesn't have to be that. And frankly, I feel like I wasted my time in my 4-year degree. And I actually got 2 4-year degrees, which was a waste of my time because it's just, here you go, we want your money. They take your money, you learn the basics about something. My master's degree, though, loved it because it's more applied. I'm not sitting in a classroom listening to someone talk at me. I'm actually, in my master's degree, I'm going out and applying my science. I'm actually doing stuff. I'm in the classroom. I'm teaching. I'm collecting data. I'm making a difference. Like, I'm actually doing something. So I enjoyed that. But if a 4-year degree is it for you, don't do it don't get in debt for that.
Why? So people go for these degrees just because they're supposed to, and
exactly.
It doesn't get you a better position anymore, does it? A 4-year degree?
No, not really. Because now you can just get online and get a degree, or you can do this and that and get a degree,
or you can get one on Photoshop.
Yeah, it's like a dime. It's like a dime a dozen.
And
which is why trades would be more valuable, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's another big topic. It's education. I have plenty of thoughts on that, and they're not very.
I can talk all day about that.
Well, you've been involved in it.
Yeah,
you taught
exactly.
6th graders
and
8th graders. Right.
No 8th graders.
No 8th graders.
Just 6th and 7th.
Okay. Yeah, the 6th grade, it's got to be like junior high was the worst for me.
I hated middle school. That's why I became a middle school teacher, so I could make someone else's life better.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked on me.
That's what you say, but
well, like I always say, fourth grade, I became aware that I was in an institution because I had adult.
Oh my God! Thank you for saying that.
I had adult problems at home.
Yeah.
And I'm in this line, and I hated the smell of the cafeteria and the way the beans mixed together with like floor cleaner.
And how you can't go anywhere or do anything without asking permission. You get treated. Yeah, it's very. It's
like cattle.
I couldn't
all
agree
of it. Like,
more.
Yeah, and it's very demeaning.
I felt like I was in prison the whole time. You're less than everyone else.
So you have a problem because you have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And that is. You like belong in a Montessori school then or something like that. Well, all the schools should be like that.
Yeah.
You know, am I talking about education? I said I wasn't going to talk about education.
But it's such a great topic.
No, I know. It's just that some things I'm like, I got to put this down for a while. I've been thinking about this too much.
Well, if you ever want to chat again about it, I would be.
No, we can. If you can be on the show.
I've even got numbers for you because I've done some. I did some huge research in literary review and then also raw data research on some of those.
Yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about that. This podcast is not about anything really.
It's about everything and nothing.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit. Like one of the, usually when I decide to do something, I have many motivations for it. When I decided to take in a different direction in life, it's not just for one reason. It's like 5 different reasons.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
You thought about it.
Yeah. So I didn't run into conversation enough out here, and I found myself going to podcasts, other people's podcasts, to have intelligent company.
Oh yeah.
You know, and on top
I
of
like that intelligent company, man. Sometimes it's hard to come by.
Yeah, and even in the podcast world, which there's like 10,000 podcasts, it's difficult to find. I have like 5, like 10 at max, you know, and so that's I don't know. That's a very small percentage.
When did you start this podcast?
I don't know.
That's a good answer.
No, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I started an audio podcast, and I would do monologues with music in the background. I would make up stories, or I would just talk about something.
That's actually.
And then I decided to do this video thing. I go because I can do this because I quit Facebook.
Right.
And then
now we have faces.
Yeah, and since and most people don't watch podcasts. I don't watch podcasts.
Yeah.
If somebody's talking, I want to know who it is, what they look like, and then if they're talking about something, and I want to see their face.
It's a good thing I didn't.
You know.
I guess I didn't. I don't know why I didn't realize yours was a video podcast because like.
I told you.
Usually I don't. I usually don't shower or.
Yeah.
But today I was like, I better because I don't know this person very well, and so. You're lucky and I'm lucky that I showered today.
I shower, but I still stink. I don't know what the hell is.
Oh, that's just a thing that happens
it's just Florida.
when you're awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I was just sitting on the couch yesterday like, don't mind me. Just sit over there.
Yeah. Well, I drink a smoothie almost every day that has 4 garlic cloves in it. So it gets pretty, I don't know. My wife puts up with a lot.
Yeah,
I don't, she's used to it now, actually.
I don't know if I could handle that. Oh, yesterday, speaking of sneaky things, random tangent. Yesterday we played this jelly bean game where you have to, like, you don't know what flavor it is.
Oh, really? And you have to guess or what? Yeah.
No, you put it in your mouth and you just hope for the best. And the flavor, there's like a rotten egg.
Oh, one of those.
Skunk.
Oh.
And moldy socks. I'm just like thinking about it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God. And then my little dog, Mr. Tumnus, all the ones I didn't want, I give to him, and he just loves it. He's like,
the dogs are gross.
Mom, I love eating poop.
Dogs are gross. They eat excretions from animals.
Yes.
They'll eat your eye boogers and your nostrils.
Yeah. But my other dog, Pippin,
they'll lick your feet.
She's like a girly girl. She's like,
off.
Mom, my little Pomeranian's like, Mom, I'm not going to eat that. Oh, gross. And my other
she's
dog's
refined.
Like, she's
very
refined.
refined.
We'll call it that.
Oh, yeah.
But my other dog's like, yeah, his skunk smell? Yes, please. Give me more of that.
Yeah. So I guess I'll never be getting into cosplay myself.
That's okay.
Yeah, and but I think it's interesting, and a lot, unfortunately,
a lot of work creating your own costumes.
Yeah,
I'm working on one right now.
I have some respect for it, of course, but a lot of people make fun of it. A lot of people make fun of cosplay.
No, I've been so used to getting made fun of my whole life.
That and I have a brother that's borderline cosplay.
Yeah.
Type.
Gotcha.
Comic books, so. Okay, I guess, I don't know, we could stop, but I actually wanted to ask you about Game of Thrones. You watch Game of Thrones?
Yes, I do.
So you have to fast forward the parts that are offensive to you.
I just close my eyes.
Okay. So tell me, did you read the books first?
No.
No? Me neither. I haven't read any of the books.
Everyone around me was reading them. Mm-hmm. He was reading them, but he stopped reading them. Mm-hmm. He said they were too wordy. I hate saying that I don't read them,
wait a minute. You said that writing is wordy now, and
it's less wordy now.
Oh, it's less wordy now. But I recently read an article that talks about how people need to, writers are writing more in the present tense.
Yes.
There's not he said.
Yep. The new series that I have coming out is in first person present tense. Mm-hmm. So not the one I'd already written, but the one coming out is it's like a Dexter meets the Punisher meets True Blood. It's a serial killer.
So what does that mean? First person present tense.
It means I'm running. I'm running through the streets.
Okay, I get it.
And I can hear the sound of the cars as they whoosh by me.
You like it? You like that style better?
I've gotten used to it. One of my favorite new authors, her name is Claudia Gray, and she has a series called Firebird. It's like a time travel sci-fi I think it's YA series, and I had never really read a book in that first person present tense before, but I love it. I love that series. It depends on the writer and if they write it well. That's what then they can write it in any mode that they want. I was going to show you one of my cosplays of the main character from. If I can get it to load.
That's cool. Whenever you want to show somebody something on the phone, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm just showing you.
This is your character here?
Yeah. And so I crafted that.
And the visual effects.
You can scroll down.
What is this visual?
Oh, my friend Steffi. She's a
if I show this to the
photographer.
camera? It doesn't work. The camera's not on me. Wait a minute.
She's a photographer. She did the effect on that.
You can't see it. It's all washed out.
Well, they can see that stuff on my website if they want to go see it. And
this is the character from
my first book.
Okay, yes.
Her name is Rael.
Rael.
And then right now I'm working on the character on the cover of the other book. She's a warrior, so I'm making some armor right now. I'm crafting some armor.
And who's while I'm looking at this, who's one of the writers that you currently think, they don't have to be current, but you think is the most badass writer, the most amazing, I just can't believe this is phenomenal? Or is there a bunch of writers that you feel that way about?
You mean as far as writing books go? Or any medium?
Books. Like books.
The person that really brought me back in, of course, was J.K. Rowling. But that's just because that story is beloved and wonderful. But as far as...
J.K. Rowling is...
Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah.
But I really enjoyed Terry Goodkind. Mm-hmm. He writes dark fantasy, which is the same genre that I write. And I just loved his way of writing these dark things that happen in a way that is so in-depth and beautiful, makes you feel like you're there. Mm-hmm. So he's a serious introvert. I don't even know if he would ever even do a podcast. But he's a New York Times best-selling author.
I find that writers, I listen to NPR and when writers are on, and I find that most writers are really bad with interviews. Yeah. Like they don't know what to say about their book, almost. They're like, well, the character, James, in that. I'm like, holy crap. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. You're ruining it for me.
Yeah, that's why some authors that read their own audiobooks, you're like, no. Oh my God, you should have hired someone. Yeah. Your book is great.
If you had to hire somebody to read your audiobook, who would it be?
Someone who has a sexy English accent.
But what kind of, deep voice or old man voice or young?
I want it to be Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Who's Daniel Radcliffe? I know who that is, but I can't see his face.
He's Harry Potter.
Oh, he's Harry Potter?
He's Harry Potter, yeah.
Oh, you don't want him.
I love his voice.
Yeah?
He's such a smooth talker, and he's just, I don't know, he just has a way about him. Yeah.
One of the I haven't listened to many audiobooks, but one of the best voices that I heard was
Armor I'm crafting right
wasn't
now.
Oh, really? It was in oh man, what is his name? He was in a movie called How to Get Ahead in Advertising. It was an English movie, and his name is whatever his name is. Doesn't matter. So this is arm for your arms.
Armor, yeah.
You're making armor for
my next cosplay.
Oh, okay, cool. Who is it going to be?
The character that's on the cover of the second book.
This one here.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to paint it gold.
Yep.
Yeah, this is great. Did you ever read the book Hyperion?
Nope.
Okay, it was good. I think you might like it. I don't know what stuff you like, but you might like it.
I like a little bit of everything.
Well, there was something you said earlier that reminded me of Hyperion. It didn't remind me. Oh, I wanted to tell you something about it. The writer, the writing style, whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. You
were like this close. You were almost there. You were almost there.
No, I just can't. It's just like there is no almost there. You either get there or you just don't.
You had a connection. You made a connection. I want to know what that connection is.
I'll tell you. I'll text you like at 12:30 tonight.
Okay.
I'll be like, oh yeah, this
so
right
what were you
there.
talking about? Oh, I don't know. You were talking about authors and introverts and... See, I'm a cusper on a lot of things. When I take the Myers-Briggs test, it's a personality test widely used by psychologists.
Yeah, that's like the scientific horoscope.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of a lot of things. So I'm mostly introvert, but I'm not completely introverted.
You're a what? RFJPW.
I'm an EF something. I forget what it is.
EFNJ. Yeah. I don't know them.
Anyways, I'm like one of the most difficult people in the entire world.
Really?
Basically.
Wait, was it true? Yeah.
Because I can see things from so many different perspectives. I don't see like a right or wrong to a lot of things. I can like see this or I can see this. I can see how this would be good. I can also see how this would be good.
So, like when you get into a conflict with somebody, does she take the other person's side all the time?
He doesn't really get conflicts.
Okay, I'm just saying. So I must be a very conflicting person.
If he's made a mistake or something, I'll say, "Well, I understand." I'll be like, "Well, so and so felt that you did this. I think because did you realize this happened?"
Yeah, he doesn't want that. He wants you to go.
Like,
he wants you to go. That person's full of shit.
Oh well, most of the time I do say that because most people are full of shit.
Well, yeah.
I have categories for people.
Also, if you want me to, I can bleep out cuss words. I don't care. I always ask people.
I don't care.
I always ask people beforehand. But
anybody who meets me in real life knows how I talk, and usually I cuss even more than this.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to kick back on that because, I'm around my daughter. She's repeating.
She's gonna say it whether you want her to or not.
I know. I just don't want it to be my fault.
It's gonna be your fault.
It's gonna be my fault. It is gonna be my fault.
Oh.
Okay, so I think we're gonna stop here. And do you mind? Is there anything else you want to say? Like maybe talk about your book.
Maybe talk about the book, where you can get it.
Well, I mean, people are meeting you right now through here, but I'm saying I'll have links to your books.
Oh, okay, great.
And it's a pleasure talking to you, and I'm very happy you came over.
Yeah.
A lot of people cancel.
Really? Oh,
for everything.
When I commit to something, I'm like a really honorable person, and it sucks because a lot of times I end up doing things I really don't want to do, and I'm grumpy about it. But I'm like a very loyal and honorable person. My honor means a lot to me.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Which can be bad because it means I care, and I don't want to care.
Well, you can't do anything about that.
I digress.
Yeah, there's whiskey for that.
But yeah, if anyone wants to keep up with me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, they can find you.
I sometimes post stuff that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I apologize if anybody's offended that you're looking at a Twitter bot most of the time, which is just scheduled tweets for me. I'm sorry.
Is that what that is? Is that how you people post so much? I'm like, how do these people do this?
Like at 4 a.m. I'm asleep.
Oh, because I like see people do post after post after post after post, and I'm like, oh no, I get one post a month.
It's like if you put it into a folder, you really should do what I do. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. It doesn't,
That's the way I actually feel. Like, are people really looking?
They don't care.
I don't think they're looking.
No.
But yeah, I should just post like, have it set up for every 5 minutes to say, read my book, read my book.
No, you can't do it like that. You have to have some method to it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but eventually
It has to seem human.
No. It just has to be interesting.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, like
I think that's
it has to be a self. It would not be interesting. Like
what's
if it was.
What's your clickbait? What's your clickbait?
My clickbait
Yeah.
is
What do you use
that
as clickbait?
well, like I've just collected dope articles over like years, and I just keep it renews like every 3 years, let's say.
Yeah.
So it goes from that, so it won't be like repetitive all the time.
Sometimes he'll Periscope something that we're doing, and I just
Cussing works a lot too.
yeah.
Just like
Or,
F you. It's
The other
like
day I was making.
people are like, ah, ha, ha.
You know the faceplate on that armor? It has like a faceplate.
Yeah.
I was trying to craft that, so I had to wrap my head in saran wrap
Mm-hmm.
and put nose holes. I had to wrap my head in saran wrap so that I could put the Warbler over my face and melt it to the form of my face without burning my face.
Yeah.
So he gets on Periscope and he called it melting face.
Uh-huh.
And people were so disturbed by it because the color of Warbler, the plastic that I'm melting,
Yeah.
is like the color of skin.
Wow.
So I'm just here like using a heat gun and
Yeah.
it's just melting over my face, and people were like, what is going on? But we got more clicks on that than anything else we've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
melting face.
you're not always sure what's going to
Yeah.
happen. You know, I was on Facebook, and when I was on Facebook, I'll tell you, I was I don't mean to sound like whatever. Yeah, I was pretty good at it, and a lot of people followed my feed, but I had to stop doing that because I'm like, this takes time
Yes.
to
Energy.
be this entertaining on here, and I just
Yeah, that's one reason I don't do that at all, because I could be
So-
working.
So we're going to stop, but I'm going to ask you one more question. So how do you think it was for people before? I mean, we lived through life before Facebook. How did people get anything done? It's like,
It was better because people weren't so stressed out and thinking that they had to put on a show for everyone else. People could be more genuine.
so
and
when do
have
you
more
think
depth.
when do you think people are going to figure that out? Because I think it's true.
I'll be honest with you, considering like the generation of children that's coming up, might be a while.
Not for my daughters.
You should just like disconnect them from society as a whole. And
Well, we don't have the internet.
there you go. See, you're already ahead of the game.
We're on the way, yeah.
But honestly, like
We have the internet. It's just at the coffee
we
shop.
don't have in-depth.
We have to go
we're
to the coffee
lacking
shop.
in-depth relationships with people, and that's sad. And I hope that we realize, but I don't think we will. I think we're just gonna keep moving forward. Like I just got video chat on now. AT&T has video chat on there.
Yeah.
I can either video or, which is cool, but now it's like a normal thing. You don't
Yeah.
need to see people in real life ever.
Yeah, I don't like video chatting. Like I don't
I
don't
like
know.
it when I get to see my baby niece.
That's cool.
That's
but
it.
even then, something about it feels awkward too. There was a study done where people were video chatting and people were talking on the phone, and the level of intimacy was far greater for people who were talking on the phone.
Yeah?
Yes.
I hate talking on the phone.
But I'm saying because there was that element where the person is still alone, kind of.
Right.
You know, and the other way, you're like looking, and everything
No
becomes
threats.
more
No
surface.
threats.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my whole thing is and I'll tell you why I hate talking on the phone. Last thing is because I am a person. When I communicate with someone, like I said, I'm a very in-depth and abstract person. I like to see your facial expressions. I like to feel your energy. I feel so lost if I don't have that. I prefer face-to-face.
Okay, so this study was
Conversation
with people that they already knew very well.
Yeah.
That changes your phone conversation.
Yeah.
You know what a person's face looks like when they're saying this, or when they're saying that. No.
I don't know. I need it.
Oh, okay,
I need it
yeah.
so bad.
Okay.
My mom's like, "Why don't you ever call?" I'm like, I don't know, because I can't hear very well and I can't see what your face is doing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
Yeah.
stop her from calling me.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom.
All right. Very good.